Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. In this video, I'll be reviewing the third ODI between India and Afghanistan. India have won this match with 9 wickets to spare, and they've won this series by 3 matches to 0. This is an expected result. Let's get into this review. Starting off with the playing 11s. For India, a couple of changes which I foresaw in my preview video were made. Well, I'd said if Nitish Kumar Reddy was fit, he should be brought back into the side. They brought him back into the side. And I'd said that Gurnoor Brad and Prince Yadav should play. I didn't expect Prasidh Krishna to be brought back as another frontline seamer, but also given the surface today, which had a bit of bounce, they brought him back and he took 5 wickets. I was surprised that they left out Kuldeep. He didn't have a great IPO. He bowled well the previous match. I thought they could give him another go here when Nitish Reddy being the third seamer, but they went with the two finger spinners as the two sole spinners. And I didn't expect them to rest KL Rahul, but I would have rested Ishan Kishan since I think he scored 125 the previous match, a 70 in the first match. But KL Rahul has not got as much batting time in this series. India only lost 1 wicket, so Ishan Kishan didn't have to bat, so there was nothing that came of that. So that is on India's 11. And for Afghanistan, I don't know whether, and it wasn't because he was injured, because he took a catch as a sub fielder. Why did they rest Siddiqullah Adil? I don't know. How often are you going to play a series against India? And yes, you've lost the series, but any match you play against India is an education for you. You've had a disappointing tour, and this is a chance where you've already got, I said the top 5, you've got a relatively settled top 5. Can you build on that? And you've got a starter in Siddiqullah Adil. You're resting him for what reason? I've got no idea. I was surprised Darvish Rathore returned because he went off injured in the previous match. Anatullah Omarzai was fit to play this match, so he returned. And Farid Ahmed, I didn't think he was in the squad because when I saw in Cricket Info, his name wasn't in the squad. And if he was in the squad, if you're giving debuts to the other inexperienced seamers who I've mentioned in the previous videos, where you got one of them played today as well, then Farid Ahmed has been with the Afghanistan squad for a long time, and he's usually the understudy to Fazal Farooqi. So if you're playing the other bowlers, no disrespect to them, but if you're playing these bowlers ahead of Farid Ahmed who's been with you for longer, then I don't get what the point was in terms of keeping him in the squad for that many years. Yes, he didn't bowl well today, but I thought he should have got the opportunity ahead of the 3 inexperienced seamers. So that was on Afghanistan. And one good thing for them was that when they won the toss, they chose to bat first. I repeat, a template in any venue, at any venue, is 280, batting first. Can the bowlers defend it? So that was something that was going to put them in good stead going into this match rather than what happened in the previous match. And as I said, the surface had a bit of bounce, and we saw the assistance that Prasidh Krishna got, where he looks to bowl shorter. He does bowl shorter. He bowled slightly fuller than he usually does in this match, but that was enough to extract the edge, and he picked up 5 wickets. He picked up the top 3. From an Afghanistan perspective, I thought there was a lack of footwork when they were facing the seamers early on, where a lot of players who usually do sort of cover the seam moon. You got an Ibrahim Zardan, for example, where he stands in the same place, goes for a drive, it's caught at slip. And then Rahmat Shah also, I think, based off memory, I think he tried to go for an expansive drive and he was caught. And Darvish Rasuli, I don't know why he played that shot. It was 36 for 4. So I said in the preview that you've got to get 55 at this venue after the first 10 overs, but I didn't think the surface was going to be like this. If they'd minimized the wickets lost, they could have compensated, but considering how the surface was and they still went about things the way they did, I thought it was confusing from an Afghanistan perspective. And in my previous video, when I was discussing a future 11 on the road to the 2027 World Cup for Afghanistan, I'd said Rahmat Shah could be the captain, Hashmatullah Shehri could be on the bench for now. And the reason why I said that is because I've said the top 5 looks to set things up until 35 overs. And there are different routes to doing that depending on the conditions. In some cases where, in this case, if the surface wasn't like this, I'd say you've got to get a brisk start early on. In other cases, you've got to be more watchful. And I think there are different ways to setting things up for the first 35 overs, and you've got to have an offensive and defensive gear. And Asmatullah Shady has mostly exhibited a defensive gear, but considering wickets fell around him at one stage, he was at 89 of 103, and I thought, given Afghanistan's template, I thought 89 of 103, and if you can continue to cash in on that, then it's a satisfactory exhibition that he can play briskly at times. And he was supported by Asmatullah Omarzai as well. He's been doing very well in ODI cricket, another 50 for him. But what I thought was disappointing from Hashmatullah Shady was that 89 of 103, and more so the way he managed things at the end, where you're bowled out for 218 with 6 overs to go, and in the last 30 deliveries, he only scores 13 runs because for some reason he's giving the strike to bowlers. I think Allah Ghazanfar was run out in the last ball of 1 over, trying to give the strike to the captain. And the next over, Hashmatullah Shady tries to give the strike to Farid Ahmed, and he's run out. So it's 2 wickets and 2 deliveries. I don't understand that as a captain. He should have managed things better. I'm not taking credit away from him, but this is the reason why I'd said in terms of that decision making, I think it also took a hit in terms of his innings and his strike rate at the end because he was 89 of 103. At the end, he's only got 13 of 30, and they fell short by 6 overs in terms of completing the innings. And Mohammad Nabi was brought back in today, 21 of 23 for him. I don't know why he was dropped the previous match. He didn't create much of an impact with the ball, but no one created an impact. And I think the correct decision is for him to play in this team. And Rashid Khan, I'll say this again, his batting he's not done well with the bat for 3 years. And with the bowling, he went at 7.5 and over. So I think they've got a problem there. And for India, Gurnur Brad went for a few runs, but at times he also hit the correct length. Prasidh Krishna, the surface also helped him. 5 wickets for him, he bowled well. And Nitish Kumar Reddy, I'd said in my preview, to what extent can he bowl on the power play? Because I didn't think Prasidh Krishna would play. He went for some runs today, but he'll be playing more matches, and because he is either the backup or someone who play alongside Hardik Pandya in 2027 World Cup 11. So we have to see what he can offer when bowling within the first 10 overs. Actually, they bowled okay. And Washington Sundar once again playing a defensive role as he did in the previous match. So India more than winning the series 3-0, which was expected. They've either got answers for their questions or they're starting to get answers for their questions. They're on the road to get answers. And there's not much to say about India's batting performance. The second century for Prasidh Jaiswal. I don't think he will be in the squad, especially if Rohit Sharma starts and he played well today. If Shubman Gill, Rohit Sharma open, Rohit Sharma is not going to be dropped. Shubman Gill is going to be the captain. There's no point taking Prasidh Jaiswal as a bench player when he's not going to play. So he's doing what he should be doing, and I think it's good on him. Time will only tell whether there will be more that comes of that. At this point in time, I think it'll be tough for him to make it to the squad, but he's doing what he should be doing, so well done to him. Rohit Sharma played well as well, and Shreyas said also managed a few runs at the end, so India have a comfortable chase from that perspective. And for Afghanistan, Azmatullah Omarzai is their new ball threat. Today he didn't bowl well. Ziaur Rahman, I've said many times, the 3 inexperienced seamers, they don't seem as if, especially for ODI cricket, they don't seem as if they're cut out for this level. And they keep bowling short no matter which surface. You've seen the 3 surfaces, they've been bowling short on every surface. Every surface has had seam movement, and they've not bowled on the fuller side, and they've gone for runs. Farid Ahmed, I thought he would bowl better than what he did, and I thought he'd bowl the new ball. They put him at first change, but he went for runs. Allah Ghazanfar, 3 overs, none for 15. And I think he hasn't bowled badly this series. It's because the India batsmen against spin, especially in white ball cricket, are fantastic players of spin. You got someone like a Shubman Gill, who I think is the best player spin in the world, and I've said that in the previous video. There's a difference between bowling in a T20 format where there's a demand of run rates, and then in the middle overs in an ODI match where you've got a few fielders outside, I think 4 fielders outside. So a mystery bowler like Allah Ghazanfar, there's not a need to attack him more than there would be in a T20 where you've got to consider the run rate. And that's why, and combined with the fact that India plays a fantastic players of spin, that's the reason why he hasn't had the wicket-taking success in this series. Rashid Khan, I think they've got a problem there. If they find another Azmatullah Omarzai, which is, I think, easier said than done, but Afghanistan have got many cricketing talents. If they find another Azmatullah Omarzai, because clearly the inexperienced seamers at this point don't look like they'll be at this level, Omarzai, Fazalak Faruqi, and another Azmatullah Omarzai, whoever, if they find one, then people may not agree with me saying this, but I don't think there'd be a place for Rashid Khan in the 11th because you can't consider the reputation of a player. You've got to consider practicality. His batting hasn't been good for 3 years. And since the technical flaw in his action, I don't know much about, but I've heard about it, and I think it's consistent in terms of the downturn in the output. He's gone for 7.5 today, and he missed his lengths at times as well. I don't think he'd be the frontline spinner for his team. Can Mujib return? Can they bowl Noor when they've not given an opportunity many times? And Mohammad Nabi has to play. So if you can deal with that, you get another Azmatullah Omarzai, the batting ability of Rashid Khan, you would not miss that much. So that's what Afghanistan could do. But I'll cover the future prospects of both teams in my upcoming series, the Road to the 2027 World Cup. So let's see what happens. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe, share with friends. This is my opinion. What's yours?